the land of carnival, caipirinhas, and non-stop wind. This world-famous kite destination has been on my radar since I first started kiteboarding, and what better way to experience the never-ending coastline than with Surfin Sem Fim. Today we are talking about a dream destination for downwinders, Brazil. My name is Crystal Vanessa. Welcome to Destination. This is not your average episode of Destinations because today we are covering 200 kilometers of Brazil's coastline and an experience that we will never forget, a bucket list trip with Surfin Sem Fim. This is Brazil like you have never seen it before. Beautiful, natural, and completely stress-free. And when you're riding upwards of 50 kilometers a day, stress is the last thing you want to deal with on some of Brazil's remote beaches. Don't panic. Not all downwinders are this long. Some are 1,000 kilometers. But not to worry, they do start at around 25 to 40 kilometers, so for whatever kind of trip you want, there is a downwinder for you. However long your trip is, this is as good as it gets for directional riders and even twintippers looking for a true kite expedition. So we are going to fill you in on our downwinder experience and some of the spots we visited along the way, and then after that we will talk about how to plan and prepare for a major downwind mission in this dream destination. On Brazil's northeastern coast, windy season doesn't really end, but for that clockwork wind that blows every day and brings people from all over the world, July to December is prime time. Wind speed can range anywhere from 16 to 30 knots every day, and while it's important to bring a full quiver of kites for this type of trip, the most common kite sizes in use here are between 6 and 9 meters. You can expect steady, consistent winds for the most part, though the geography of some areas can create gusty conditions in certain spots. When the wind starts picking up in the late morning here, it will blow until the sun goes down. There are endless opportunities for kiteboarding here in Brazil. Being so close to the equator, you'll find hot weather basically all year round, with a bit more rain in the off-season. You won't need a wetsuit at all for a Surfin Sem Fim downwinder, but you will definitely need some sun protection. So, a 1mm protective layer, rash guard leggings, hat, sunglasses. You will definitely want some sunscreen. You may even want some zinc for the face for the long days in the hot sun. Even after the sun sets, the temperature in Brazil is so comfortable that the only time you're going to use a longer layer is on the flights in and out. Launch spots in Brazil are limitless. The coastline here is more than 7,500 kilometers long, which is nearly 5,000 miles. Basically, if there's wind on the beach, you can launch your kite. Some of Brazil's most popular kite beaches are Cumbuco and Jericoacoara, but in this episode, we are going to focus on the downwinder experience. But stay tuned because in future episodes of Destinations, we are going to cover those other two popular kite beaches. Our trip started on the busy beaches of Cumbuco, with stops in Taiba, Gajiru, Baileia, and ended up 5 days later on the peaceful bay of Icarazinho. But that is just one of many routes. Some downwinders explore the most wild sides of Brazil's coastline, which are about as remote and untouched as you can imagine. From landing amongst local fishing boats and cows on the beach, to bridges, lagoons, and beautiful river mouths, windmills on the skyline, and picturesque bays that will take your breath away. It's basically a sightseeing trip from the water. Let's talk about riding level. Surfin Sem Fim trips are designed for intermediate kiteboarders and above, so a solid base of downwinding skill is required for a trip like this. Now these skills include riding downwind and with speed, being able to keep your kite very active, down looping on turns. The ability to manage wave, shore break, and chop are also very helpful. But most importantly, what you need for this trip is to be completely independent as a kiter and be up for the challenge. Don't worry though, with this crew you have a lot of support if anything goes wrong. There are Land Rovers following the group along on the beach, and there are guides out on the water to make sure that you stay safe and have fun. For those that are first-timers on a downwind trip, you may want to start with a beginner or a light route. Or if you're ready for some progression, there are some special coaching opportunities available. On this trip, we got to ride with strapless pros like Michu Montero, Luke McGillivray, and Gilly Brando, and many of Surfin Sem Fim's routes feature pro riders. So whether it's a video coaching session after a day on the water or just a quick chat on the beach, there is so much information to be learned from these incredible kiters. Riding style? Well, it's pretty much strapless wave riding for downwinders in Brazil, but there is a lot of flexibility, so some kiters may feel more comfortable with a strapped waveboard, and twin tippers are definitely allowed. So my strapless skills have a lot of room for improvement, so I was swapping back and forth between a twin tip and a strapless board during my downwinder. For those that want to do this trip on a twin tip, there are some boards that are designed specifically with wave riding and downwinding in mind, and those may be much more comfortable on a long downwind journey. If you're riding a twin tip, you can use those waves as kickers and get some serious air to the right. And of course, as I saw on this trip, the strapless riders can get some massive airs as well. This trip is definitely best done on a waveboard, so if you have one, bring one, and if you're not sure, bring both. You can always swap them out along the way. Now facilities, at first glance, this trip seems like it might be one where it's a little light on facilities, because when you're covering that much coastline, who knows where you're going to end up along the way. But on those long, empty stretches of beach where you won't see another kiter for hours, you do still have the support vehicles following along, so you'll always have a pump, extra gear, water, and food if you need it. You will want to bring your own spare equipment along on this trip to be brought along in the accompanying trailer. So that might include your surfboard repair kit, kite repair kit, extra kites and boards, whatever you might need on a long downwind mission. On the overnight stays, you'll find yourself pretty spoiled. A friendly face to land your kite, a cold drink and a dip in the pool upon arrival at each pousada, which is a hotel, and on this trip they are always beachfront. You can park your gear in their facilities, which are equipped with air compressors and showers, and then sit down for a delicious, fresh local meal. After dinner, you can settle into your beachfront bungalow with a comfortable bed and get some rest because you will need it. There are plenty more miles to cover tomorrow. There are definitely cautions on a big downwind trip like this, especially because you will be riding in territory that is new to you every day. But not to worry, because every morning you will get a briefing from your guides, and they will make sure to fill you in advance of your route for the day, as well as any obstacles you might expect. And of course, they'll be there on the water with you to make sure you can navigate through or around these obstacles. The things to be the most cautious of on this trip are sun exposure and aching muscles. But luckily, most of these pousadas have masseuses, so if you need some help with aching muscles, they can definitely help you with that. And the sun exposure, a little preparation is all you need to make sure you avoid that. Lastly, some of these long downwinders are hard, but it's overcoming the challenge that makes this truly an exceptional experience. So come with a lot of energy and a fighting attitude, and you will be blown away by what you are capable of. Downwinders in Brazil are absolutely epic, and this is an experience that all kiteboarders should have at some point. Whether you're doing a big kite expedition with a group like Surfin Sem Fim or just doing short downwinders while you're here, this is definitely worthwhile. Put this one on the bucket list. If you've been to Brazil and you've done some downwinders, we would love to hear from you. Leave us a comment and tell us about your favorite downwind experience in Brazil. And if you're planning a trip, hit us up and let us know. Maybe we've got some intel we can share with you. To hear more about my personal experience downwinding in Brazil with Surfin Sem Fim, check out the link to my blog, which is in the description of this video. Now, let's talk about everything you need to know to plan and prepare for your trip to Brazil. Travel to Brazil starts with a little bit of advanced planning. For Americans and Canadians, we do require a visa to go to Brazil, but the process is fairly simple and it can be done online. So if you click on the little eye in the corner of this video, you can check out the written spot guides, which include links and visa requirements. Visitors from other countries, including the UK, don't need a visa, but be sure to double check this information online before you go, just in case something changes. For hotels and pousadas, again, on a downwind trip, you don't really have to worry about this. This is all planned for you. But I do highly recommend taking a few days before or after your trip to spend some more time enjoying beautiful Brazil. As far as other activities in Brazil, on a downwinder trip you will be too busy kiting and chilling to have time for anything else. But stay tuned for our next Brazil episode of Destinations, in which we will cover all of these other awesome things that you can do while you're here in Brazil. On these downwind trips, your extracurricular activities are pretty much cold beer, a caipirinha, and jumping into the pool when you arrive at the pousada. Thank you for joining us on this episode's downwind adventure in Brazil. The next step is for you to get out on the water yourself, because this is an experience you will never forget. So if you have any questions for us, please leave us a comment, or you can reach out to me on social media or reach out to Surfin Sem Fim to plan your downwinder. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you receive notifications about each destination that comes out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Destinations.